We sit in the row directly behind the brothers. Listening to the priest was hard, especially when Antonio and Rocco would whisper to each other and I could have sworn they were looking at me out of the corner of their eyes. I squirm uncomfortably hoping it's just my imagination. The rest of the service seemed to go quick and suddenly I found myself watching them lower Lorenzo's casket into the ground. There are women crying and some men even tearing up, but when I look at Antonio and Rocco their faces are stone. Antonio as the new mob boss can't show any weakness to his men. Crying is a weakness and a part of me wonders how sad he really was. I mean, from a psychology class I took in high school we learned bottling up is bad for you. So who was I going to be, his therapist? The rainy Chicago weather was fitting for the funeral. I stood next to my father and he holds up the umbrella to cover the both of us. My father hasn't said 2 words to me today since before we left the penthouse. By now, I'm starving. My stomach growling and I pray no one can hear. My father would beat me into next week if I embarrass him. The gathering after the funeral was held at Antonio and Rocco's aunt's house. That is to ensure privacy and safety for the new capo, just like in New York, only a select few of my father's men know where we will. If there is a traitor amongst us, which there has been in the past, then we'd likely be dead or moved to a new undisclosed location. The Moretti brothers' cousins are all crying and Rocco is comforting his aunt while Antonio is nowhere to be found. Neither is my father. I roam the hallways in search for the two. I'm startled when they exit a room and run into me. Liliana Ricci. What the hell have I told you about eavesdropping? My father says with his hands clenched into fists. I was just, looking for the bathroom. I didn't hear anything. I hate how I cower. It's all right, Domenico. May I have a moment alone with her? Antonio asks. My father looks a little less angry and obliges the new capo. My father never lets me in a room alone with a man. What the hell is he thinking? Antonio puts his hand on the small of my back and leads me into one of the bedrooms. He closes the door and stares at me. After a moment of awkward silence, I decide to speak up. What do you want? My voice trembles. Are you scared? I debate on lying, but I know better than to lie to a man in power. If Antonio told my father, I'd be disgraced and have a punishment to look forward to. Yes. Good. You should be. He paces. Why is he pacing? It only makes me more nervous. Is he going to kill me? Did father finally get sick of me and now he's getting rid of me? His only daughter. May I go back out? I am really hungry. I haven't eaten all day. No, Antonio takes a step toward me. Do you know what your father and I were discussing? I shake my head. We were talking about how as the new capo I should appear more mature to my men, and that since the Famigilia in New York is helping the outfit, your father believes there is one way to pay him back for his generosity. He believes a union will ensure peace between the outfit and New York. Union. I can feel my legs go weak. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. We are to marry. We will announce our engagement at the end of the week and marry next month. My vision goes black and the last thing I see before hitting the ground is Antonio rushing toward me.